Okay, we're going to start seated today. Change. Sitting in Sukhasana. You might want to sit on the edge of a blanket. So if your knees are popping up high relative to your hips, the edge of a blanket would be a good idea. And Sukhasana is a kind of tighter cross. So a lot of people do Siddhasana, which is one way to sit, but it's kind of wider and more open. So see how it works for you to bring your feet more aligned with your knees, a little more compacted shape. And just kind of surf around here, try to root evenly through your sitting bones. Spine rising from the ground of the pelvis. With the shoulders relaxed, you don't need to reach your hands to your knees, just let the hands settle where the arms and shoulders can be at ease. Slightly tucking the chin, lifting up through the back of your skull. You can close your eyes if you like, or have your gaze downward, arriving in the here and now. Notice any tension in the face or the jaw, around the eyes, softening there. And letting the belly be relaxed so the breath is very natural. More like the breath is breathing you than you're in control of the breath. Simply sitting and breathing and cultivating presence. Okay, and we'll begin our movement inquiry with a simple forward fold. Option to support your head here, if you like, with a block or bolster or some kind of combo. Of course, you don't have to. We want the sitting bones to stay on the ground in a gentle forward fold. Make sure if you are supporting your head that the chin isn't excessively in toward the chest with the head really kind of rounded, or the neck really rounded here. So back of the neck long, bring the props up to meet your forehead rather than dropping heavy through the head to meet the props. Couple more breaths here. Send your breath into the back ribs. And then gently rise back up to upright seat. Just pause at the top here. I'll take a little fold over to the sides. You can turn your torso to orient over one leg and one knee. And again, gentle forward fold. maybe supporting the head, not letting the throat compress with that prop setup. A few more breaths here. Breath is in the foreground of awareness. Slowly rising up, orienting back to center. And then orienting the torso over the other leg, the knee, lengthening forward, maybe supporting your head. Gently rising up. Stretch your legs out in front. So it's basically Dandasana here. If you want to add a block, you can place a block behind you, about 6 inches or so. Get a little more opening through the chest and the shoulders. So we'll bring the hands to the block with the fingers pointing back. We try to bring the outer edges of the hands together. So some of you might need to stack 2 blocks next to each other. Low, wide setting. Push the heels of your hands into the blocks and really lift up through your chest. It's like you're spreading the collarbones away from each other and also drawing the shoulder blades down toward your waist. You can slightly tuck the chin again. Breathing into sides of the torso, especially here. And gently release your arms. We're coming back to our cross-legged seat one more time, but with the other leg in front. So the less comfortable way, most likely, this slightly more awkward setup for a twist here. So twisting to the right, left hand to the right knee, kind of on top more than underneath, and right hand walking back behind you. If you feel like you have to lean back to get to the floor, put your block underneath your hand. And then try to use your left hand to kind of press the right knee a little down and away. Turning through your center, turning from deep within your center. Let's derotate the head so nose is in line with the sternum. Right shoulder blade moves toward the spine and down toward the waist. And gently unwind, pause at center, other side. Hand a little bit more on the top of the inner knee rather than the bottom or the underside. Walk your left hand back behind you to really take that shoulder back. Slide the shoulder blade down the back and work the rotation, especially with exhalations from your center, from your abdominal region. Slightly pressing your left knee down and away. And then nose in line with sternum. And gently unwind your spine. Pause at center. And then from here, line your back in Shavasana. And just allow your body to drop. Sense the weight of your bones. Let's activate the legs so the toes are pointing up. So kind of like a mountain pose. You could bring feet together if you like that, if your hips like that, or keep the feet hip width apart. Let's stretch the arms overhead alongside the ears. Palms face each other, or palms face up toward the ceiling, whatever feels better for your shoulders. And then draw the front ribs down toward the floor so you can lengthen through the lower back a little bit more. Reach, stretch, elongate. Push through your heels, pull your toes back. Relax all together. Bring your arms down alongside your body once again. Feel your breath moving through your body. And then from here, let's plant the feet about hip width apart. Place left ankle on right thigh by the knee in this supine figure four shape. And then take your left hand somewhere on your left leg, maybe down, kind of up by the hip crease, or could be further up the leg toward the knee. And we're just applying some pressure away to invite that left knee to move a little bit more away from you. I almost get this sensation like I'm creating a little bit more space in my hip, like the femur, the thigh bone moves out of the hip socket a little bit. Of course, that's not happening, but just creating a little bit of space. So it's a good amount of pressure with that left hand. And then you can keep that action, but with the left leg doing it on its own. So that left knee kind of reaching away from you. We'll bring the legs in. So right foot leaves the floor. You take hold of your right thigh or your right shin and draw the legs in. Still left knee moving away from you. You could use potentially your left elbow to nudge the left leg away if it's in the right place, if it happens to be there. Let's keep the legs in this shape, but bring the right foot back down to the ground. Open the arms out to a T, and then kind of like a tick-tock. So rock to the inner edge of the right foot, the legs drop over to the left, and then rock toward the outer edge of the foot, legs drop over to the right. We still have that figure four shape going. You can go side to side a few times. Make sure you're not shortening your movement because something is in the way. If you're able to clear your space, you have your full range of motion. So when the legs drop to the left, we want to make sure the right shoulder stays down. And vice versa. When the legs drop to the right, try to keep the left shoulder down. Couple more times. Next time the legs drop over to your right, let's pause there. So if you can bring your left foot all the way to the ground, do so. If not, you can put a block underneath your foot so it has something to connect to. And then still that energy of the left knee moving away from you. If you wanted, you could even engage your left glute, so squeeze your left buttock muscle. And let's all bring the left arm alongside the ear as the shoulder is okay with that. Working this stretch through the whole left side from the knee all the way to the fingertips. Breathe into the back ribs. Bring the left arm back to the T. Bring the legs back up to center, so right foot is planted, and then drop the legs over to the left. Still that figure four shape, so we're on the inner edge of the right foot. And you can use a little bit of encouragement or pressure of the left, it's kind of like a left ankle on the right thigh, not just straight down, but like down and away. So again, that same reaching action of the right knee away from you. Now you could engage your right glute and stretch your right arm alongside the ear. Now the line of energy is on the right side from the knee all the way up through the arm. Return the right arm to a T. Bring the legs back to center. And now we'll switch sides. So left foot is planted. Right ankle on left thigh. First, keep the left foot planted. Use your right hand somewhere wherever you can reach or feels helpful on this right leg. And it's not a huge action. We're pressing and to help that right leg move kind of away from the pelvis. Keep coming back to the breath. When you're ready, release your right arm out to a T and tick-tock the legs side to side. Keeping this figure four shape. Right foot might touch down, it might not. No force. Go slow. Keep the shoulders down. The next time the legs drop over to the left, pause there. The right foot could make it all the way to the ground. Maybe it doesn't. We'll put something underneath the foot so it's not hovering. Right knee moving away from you. I just realized we missed something. We'll come back to it. Can stretch the right arm alongside the ear. Breathing into the right side. Right arm returning to the T. The legs come up and over to the right. Still in this figure four shape. Now the right leg, it's the right ankle-ish, can help root the left leg down and kind of slide without moving. So there's some energy away through the left leg. Let's try squeezing left glute and reaching through the left knee away from you and left arm alongside the ear. Excuse me. Bring the left arm back to the T, bring the legs back to center, and then that stretch we missed, still in the figure four, draw the knees in. You could bring your hands to interlace around left shin or left thigh. Right knee moves away from you. Maybe the right elbow is conveniently placed to help nudge the right thigh away. Back body breathing. Carefully release all together into Shavasana. Once again, we'll come into our full body stretch. It's like Urdhva Hastasana, like the standing stretch, but we're on our backs here. So bringing arms up alongside ears, palms could face up or each other, knees point up, toes point up, reach, reach, reach. Front ribs down, so the back is lengthened. And then from here, bring your arms up toward the ceiling. Let's have palms facing each other now. Reach the arms up so the shoulders start to peel away from the floor. And then just slide your heels toward you to bend your knees. So feet are flexed, knees are bent. And then reach the arms up toward the ceiling. Have that feeling of shoulders lifting away from the floor. You could keep arms here or keep that reaching action as you bring your arms alongside your ears. So we're in chair pose on our back. Keep reaching the arms away from you. The shoulders will crowd the ears. That's okay. Slide the legs out straight. Push through your heels. Feet are flexed. And then see if you can take hold of your elbows and stretch the elbows opposite the feet. So full body stretch, front ribs down. Relax all together, bring your arms down, Shavasana. Notice what you notice. Okay, if you're working with a belt or towel or scarf, whatever it is, you can grab it. If you happen to have it in a small loop, we're not really you don't need the loop now, but you could use it. So bring the belt around the feet, both feet, and the legs maybe up to vertical. So let's find our neutral pelvis. Knees could be a little bent here. So neutral pelvis, find your pubic bone, find the two bony points in the front of your pelvis, and make sure they're horizontal. Usually the pubic bone is popping up and the whole lower back is flat into the floor. So we want a little gap, small one, but little gap between the lower spine and the floor. So we want intact lumbar curve essentially, which might mean the legs aren't completely vertical. For some of you that might be easy, no problem. For others, you'll have to move your legs a little bit away to keep that neutral pelvis. Feet are flexed, drive through the heels, and try to press the sacrum straight down. Just a rooting action. Nothing's really moving. Okay, and then from here, let's keep the belt just around the left foot. And if you have a bolster, you can use your bolster. If you don't, a block will work okay as well, or some pillows. So we're not going to use it immediately, but we might as well just get it in place. And left leg is airborne, and the block or bolster is right up, wedged right up against the outer left hip. So you could have right foot planted. Maybe that's a good place to start to maintain your neutral pelvis. Okay, and then if you'd rather, you can slide the right leg straight. Do so slowly so you can still monitor that you have neutral pelvis. You have that little gap between the lower spine and the floor. Okay, if right leg is on the ground, we're pushing through the heel, pressing the thigh down. So that leg didn't just like check out of the pose. It's still super important. Keep your neutral pelvis and maybe draw the left leg in closer. So more of a hamstring stretch. You can continue to explore that action of rooting the sacrum straight down. See how it feels. If it changes anything for you. And now keeping the pelvis level, neutral, open the left leg out to the left. So it's going to run right into the bolster or the block. That's okay. You can scoot it a tiny bit out if you feel like you're not getting anywhere, but we don't want to move it all the way down and then have the right side of the pelvis pop up. If your right foot has been planted, you can rock to the outer edge of the right foot and kind of find a tree pose shape in this right leg. That's a nice variation. Breathing here. So as the left leg stretches out to the left, it's like the belly or the navel kind of slides or spins opposite to the right. It's really subtle potentially. So if it doesn't make sense, just ignore it. Bring the left leg back up. We'll swap. So the right foot is in the belt and you can move your bolster or your block right up against the outer right hip. Check back in, neutral pelvis. The lower back is not flat in the floor. There's a little lumbar curve. You can keep the left foot planted or with awareness, slide the left leg out straight, push out through the heel, push out through both heels, and then keep that neutral pelvis. Maybe you can create more of a hamstring stretch. Make it more about your breath. Awareness remaining on neutral pelvis as you open the right leg out to the right. If the left foot's been planted, you can let the knee open out and rock to the outer edge of the foot. Have the sense that the right leg is stretching actively out to the right, push out through the heel, and the belly is spinning opposite. Carefully bring the leg back up to vertical. Put the other foot back in so both feet are in. Here's where we might use the loop. So if you don't have a loop, it's no big deal. It's just one stretch. Again, find your neutral pelvis here. Eyeball the pubic bone. Make sure it's not curling up. Press the sacrum straight down. And then if your belt is long enough, you can slide your hands all the way up the tail to straight arms overhead. And legs reaching up, just vertical now. We're not going for a bigger stretch through the hamstrings. And a little tug on the belt, front ribs down. Energy through the arms. It's like down dog. And from here, you can release the belt and come back into Shavasana. Notice the field of sensation. Bring both knees in toward the chest. Let's leave the arms down on the floor. And then one leg at a time will circle. So it'll be more like a semicircle. One leg stays where it is with the other knee. So knee stays bent. Semicircle because you're not crossing the midline here. Go slow so you can really find your end range of motion versus just kind of loose and whippy without intention. It's almost like a hip car on your back, if you're familiar with that movement. So you could add a little internal rotation when the knee moves away from you, knee in toward the midline, foot away from the midline. Same leg, go in the other direction. And then that leg gets to rest in stillness at center while the other leg circles. Same leg, other way, other direction. Circle back to center and then bring your feet down to the ground. We're coming into a supported bridge. You can use your bolster. If you've got a bolster or a pile of pillows, let's use that. And if not, you can use your block. So I like to place the bolster, sit on it, and then lie down rather than trying to slide it under. So either way, supported bridge here with a support, the support underneath your sacrum, not underneath your lower back. So if you start sitting, you might have to scoot once you get down. Lower back dropping, feet planted. Let's just be here for a few breaths. Okay, we're gonna add a twist here. If you're on a block, it may or may not feel good, so you can try it and maybe decide like, I'm gonna do this without the block. If you're on the bolster, it should work okay. So make sure your whole pelvis is supported here. Lower back not on, but you don't want to feel like you're gonna slide off. We're gonna take the arms out to a T and then keep the knees tucking in toward the chest so they're not going to drift away as we lower the knees over to one side. They're not going to get all the way to the ground, so there's no need to kind of topple off the bolster. They're unlikely. If you've removed the block, your legs could get all the way down. But we're more interested in keeping the shoulders rooted. And then slowly up through center. Keep bringing knees in toward the chest and over to the other side. So it's super common move. We just added potentially a little support. Go slow, side to side. Especially when you get toward your end range. If you go slow, you might find you can go a little further than if you're just kind of flopping side to side. Try to keep your knees together. Knees drawing up toward the elbow as they lower down. And then a few more times here, option to add a straightening of the top leg. So first you find the twist, go slow, keep the opposite shoulder down, and then you can slowly, carefully, maybe palms down for a little more support, straightening the top leg out in front of you essentially. So the thighs are staying stacked. Bend the knee. Try to keep the knees together as they come up through center. Over to the other side. Keep the shoulders down. Slowly extending the top leg. You might not go so deep into the twist if you feel like you're going to fall off the bolster. Bend the knee. Let's go a couple more times each side, adding this extension of the knee. Straightening of the leg. Push through the heel as you straighten the leg. About one more time each side. Make it work for you. Notice how the two sides differ. After your second side, once you're back to center, bring the feet back down to the ground. If you lost the block or bolster, come back into supported bridge. So support the sacrum again. So the pelvis is elevated. And then option to take the hands to the elbows. So forearms hover over the chest. Reach the elbows up to the ceiling so you feel the shoulders start to lift away from the floor. Keep that reaching action. Bring the arms up around the head. Keep that reaching action. Maybe slide the legs straight with the heels on the ground. If that's too much for your back, you might be able to make it work and get value out of it by putting blocks underneath your heels. So straight legs, but bringing the floor up a little bit to meet you. This might be like a game changer for some of you who, as soon as you straighten your legs, you feel back pain. Reach through the heels, toes point up, front ribs down. You can squeeze your glutes for added back support. Let's bring the arms down, plant the feet again, and then lift your hips and either remove the block or if you've got a bolster, just slide it down so you can bring your pelvis down, but keep it there. Bring the knees in toward the chest. Soles together, feet apart. So our aerial Baddha Konasana. See if you can reach for the outer edges of your feet. Knees are wide. Stretch the inner knees away from each other. Try uncurling the tailbone so you have a little space again between the lower back and the floor. Keep the soles of your feet together and the knees wide, but let go. And you can either bring your feet on top of the bolster or on the far side of the bolster. It's going to depend on your proportions and the size of the bolster. So we're in a Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees apart, feet maybe on the bolster, feet maybe on the floor with the legs supported on the bolster, or you can use pillows or blankets or nothing. And then let's bring our hands to the rib cage. So fingers in front, thumbs in back, this kind of like J shape. And then see if you can move the back ribs with your thumbs a little bit more up toward your head, and the front ribs with your fingers a little bit more down toward your pelvis. So a little lengthening for the spine, and then release your arms onto the floor and be here. Make sure your breath is touching the sides of the torso and the back ribs, back lungs. From here, you can slide the legs out straight. We won't be here for too long, but could readjust the bolster or your props so it's under your thighs or your knees. I like the edge of the bolster right up at the top of the hamstring, personally. Noticing inner atmosphere. Okay, and now let's bend the knees and roll to the side to come on up. Go slow. If you've got props on your mat, set them aside. If you want to take the blanket off of your mat, you could. You might want a little extra knee padding. And we're going to do a little bit of hip car movement, controlled articular rotations. And let's use a block for that. So this will be in tabletop. So let's just take a moment to really hone that alignment. The fingers are spread, the wrists are directly beneath the shoulders. We want to make sure we're rooting through each finger and the thumbs. And the knees are just slightly shied inward. They're not directly under the hips, so bring them just slightly inward. Knees are hip width apart. Now we'll take the block and put it on the sacrum. This will help us make sure that the pelvis is staying neutral. Push the floor away with your hands. And then just slightly soften through the chest, just slightly soften between the shoulder blades. Chin is tucked in toward the chest, and then we press the back skull slightly up toward the ceiling. So usually when I say like lift the head, people lift their chin. So chin stays tucked, back of the head slightly moving up toward the ceiling. We're going to see if we can maintain all that alignment and do one hip car forward and back on each side. So let's start with right knee moving in toward the chest, but nothing else is changing. And then right knee coming out to the side, like you're a dog at a fire hydrant. Again, nothing's changing, so we're not lifting this right hip at all. It should be difficult. So we're really finding our end range. And then from here, we start to bring the knee back in line with the hip and dial the foot out so we get some internal rotation. So knee in, foot out. Try not to be sagging through the lower back here. So really contain through our center. Try to push the foot up, up, up toward the ceiling. Nothing else changes. And then bring the knee back in toward the chest. And go in the opposite direction. So the knee goes back, the foot goes up, the glutes engaged. You can dial the foot out a little bit, find that internal rotation that's so limited in so many of us. And then switch to external rotation, knee coming out to the side. Wide, 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 pelvis is neutral. And then knee in and down. Let's do a little wrist stretch before the second side. So flip palms up, fingers forward. And then have a dragging back action. It's an isometric action, so the hands aren't actually dragging. So rather than just pressing straight down, press down and as if you could draw your hands toward you, toward your knees. Okay, flip the hands, second side here. Just reaffirm all this alignment through your hands, your wrists, your chest. Ribs stay pulled in, so we're not sagging here, not like a, like a horseback. Draw the left knee in toward the chest. Pelvis stays quiet. Open the knee out to the side as wide as you can. And then as the knee starts to go back in line with the hip, the foot comes up and goes out to the left. And then knee in toward the midline, in toward the chest. Send it back, foot up, foot out, knee in. And then knee out, foot in. Go wide, wide, wide. Whew. And then knee back in to the ground. You can take the block off. Shift your hips back, child's pose. Let's rise up to sit. With wide legs. If your pelvis is tilting back, please sit up on the edge of something so you can find that neutral pelvis. Okay, so first we're just staying upright here. Let's bring hands alongside the hips. Not to lean onto the hands, but to lift up through the spine a bit more. Reach through your heels, toes point up, knees point up. Try not to let your heels pop up off the ground. That might be a little hyperextension in the knees. So heels down on the floor, but feet flexed and thighs rooting down. You can stay right here, or we'll add a forward fold. And some of you might like to support your head. You probably need to pile it up. For many of us, you can pile it up. It's just an option to support the head. Maybe a couple blocks, maybe nowhere near head support is fine too. So remember, we don't want to excessively drop the chin in order to get down to a prop. We really want to keep the throat open as we fold. Blocks can be angled too. I think that's something a lot of people aren't aware of. So you can kind of angle a block to make it work for you. Keep reaching your heels away from you and make it even more about like you could stretch your legs away from you than just the heels. Breathing into the back ribs. Slowly rise. Bring your feet together, knees wide, Baddha Konasana. Let's try getting a grip on the feet or the ankles or the shins if the feet are too far away, and tug a little bit to lift up through the chest. Stretch inner knees away from each other. Anchor your shoulder blades down your back. And pausing here upright. So you can really lift up through the sides of the torso. That might be more of a visual than an actual physical movement. And then once again, you can stay upright or fold forward. Hinge from the hips. Chin is slightly tucked, back of the head, reaching up, or slightly pressing upward. If you want, you could support your head again. Remember to keep the throat open when you create that support. Slowly, carefully rising up. Okay, we're gonna take like a knee down side angle shape. So let's come up onto the knees. And then let's step the right foot out to the right. That's it. Root down through the knee and squeeze your left glute and see if you can get that hip moving forward. Maybe having a block here, just like you would inside angle, you can go inside or outside the front foot. And then you can shift a little bit forward and bring your hand to the block. Keep pressing this back hip out in front of you, squeezing the glute. Bottom side of the rib cage coming forward, arms stretching up. It's like a gate side angle variation, yeah? Let's turn the gaze down. So back leg's really active. Maybe taking the arm alongside the ear. Turning the heart up toward the ceiling. Push the floor away to rise up. Let's straighten this front leg. I like to put a block underneath my toe mound, so you could do that if you like. The right leg is straight. We're still active through this back leg, sending the hip forward out in front of you, engaging the glute. And then slide the right hand down, reach the left arm up first, this line of energy. Gaze down. And then let the hips rock back a little bit more as you take it into more of a side bend. Keep reaching up. It's like an up and over action with this left arm rather than just over. Rising up. Beautiful. Second side. So right knee is grounded. Plant the left foot for our low side angle shape. This back leg is really active. Hip moving out in front of you, knee driving down, glute engaged. And then you can shift into this side angle shape with your hand on the block. Let's stretch the arm up first. Reach, reach, reach. Staying here or taking the arm alongside the ear. Turn your gaze down. Really working the back leg. Rise up. If you like, you can use the block. I like it on the low, wide setting. Left leg straight. Toe mounds on the block. In our Parigasana, our gate shape. Press the knee down, hips moving forward out in front of you, back glute on. Stretch your right arm straight up. Feel the stretch. And then allow your hips to rock back. Keep reaching up, up and over through your right arm into a bit of a side bend. Carefully rising up. Bring your knee underneath you. So knees are underneath hips. Let's bring the hands to the lower back, sacrum. Toes tucked or tops of the feet actively pressing down. Really engage the glutes, like you could tuck under. Take the elbows back. And then we're not going for a back bend here. We're just adding a deeper flexion, adding a more of a hinge from the knees. So glutes, glutes, glutes all day long. Hinge back. And then come back up. Let's try that a few more times. Chin slightly tucked. The back of the head is moving back. You only go as far as you can. Keep the bottom ribs in. One more time. Beautiful. From here, you can press back to down dog or child's pose. Let's lower the knees down to the ground. We're setting up for a candle pose, so supported bridge with the legs up to vertical. So if you want to use your bolster, you can, or use a block. Again, it's easier to place the block after you're on your back. It's easier to place, my opinion anyway, not have to slide the bolster around. To place it first. And then lie on your back. So the bolster is underneath your pelvis, not your lower back. So you want to be on it just enough to feel like you're not going to slide off, particularly when it's the bolster. And then you can bring your knees in and your legs up to vertical, just vertical. Keep letting the front ribs drop down. Sometimes I like to bring my hands to the bottom front of my rib cage just for a little reminder. Some energy through the legs and the feet, not strong gripping, just not completely passive either. Be with your breath. A few more breaths here. Carefully bring the legs back down, one at a time if you have any back considerations. Once the feet have landed, you can remove the block or just slide the bolster down. And we're coming into Shavasana here. So if it's a rectangular bolster, most likely it's going to be a little more supportive underneath the thighs. If it's a round bolster, under the knees, or you can remove the bolster completely. Make any adjustments so you can rest in comfort and ease and stillness. Usually when we get still, the mind starts to move. So see if you can continue to be right here, right now. Like this is the most important pose. Whatever you're doing is the most important thing. Give yourself fully to Shavasana. And come back into the river of breath. And bring your awareness back into your body, this sacred vessel. And if and when you feel ready, slowly and carefully make your way up to a seat. Thich Nhat Hanh, you've got to practice meditation when you walk, stand, lie down, sit, and work, while washing your hands, washing the dishes, sweeping the floor, drinking tea, talking to friends, or whatever you are doing. When you are washing the dishes must be the most important thing in your life. Just as when you are drinking tea must be the most important thing in your life. Let's bring hands, palms together at heart center. Take a breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. That was